corruption, polarity, as seen from experience of living in recent times. Early 21st century, considering how to remove conflict from existence through my own experience is in life, and the realization all is the word, if there was ever a word that one needed to have, use, consider, was that corruption falls those at the top use it as justification, their corruption, that those below them are corrupt, and therefore it is just to deal with them corruptly. Corruption falls, I said to myself. They are not being reasonable, responsible, this was before the word all, actually, just prior to discovering the word all, perhaps. And in that, the current situation is those at the top, in that those that administer ting and ting are corrupt, and they justify that corruption on the populace is corruption, though their reasons for doing it in local government, for instance, are more than likely as a consequence of financial constraints. Perhaps I might be being generous, possibly, who knows. Let's hope we don't have to consider it. Let's not consider it. Let's consider it an equal money system for all, from birth until death, creating a world where all can live with dignity equally. Recent realizations. How can I rail against the corrupt, being so corrupt myself, put myself completely in order first, and then see how the interconnectivity works, because interconnectivity does affect the way things are. I would be moving from the point to explain my experiences further, and the chances of many, if any, people watching understanding is remote. I had an interview the other day for priority needs housing. I tried to get an interview 2 years ago for the same thing, as I fit the criteria for such a designation. They would not let me make a claim for it. They I've gone into specifics and I'm not happy about that. They corrupted the procedures to deny me a claim. Consequently, I had no shelter. The only person I knew who had any space and I'm not trying to lack self-responsibility in this. The only person I knew who had any space, who I could buy it off, who would require my assistance financially, was back into the problem that I had, that was the reason why I was entitled to the designation that I was seeking. During the interview the other day, the interviewer questioned me on my criminality, and it has dawned on me that she justified her denying me of my rights, my legal rights, on the basis that she believed she judged me to be criminal. Though I have a criminal record, I haven't been a criminal as such since childhood, youth. Excuse me, I have been excused. And so what is occurring is the downtrodden are corruptly dealt with for whatever reason. They then are corrupt in response, which then those who administer the systems are then corrupt in response. Vicious circle. Polarity. Considering all life in all that one says, thinks and does is the solution to such circumstances and situations. Now, I have some sympathy. I don't sympathise at all, actually, in actuality, but I will use it as a term of reference for the vlog. I have some sympathy for the situation, those that fit the designation that I was seeking from the local authority are users and abusers, attention seekers. And whilst it could be said that they have become that way as a consequence of the system and the inherent nature of its unjust, corrupt ways, they obviously justifying their denial of service to those they are judging as corrupt on the basis of this. The solution would cost more money than the local authority has in its budget to deal with the services that I am talking about. I could quite easily myself, and I am not a public servant as the job title, though they serve themselves, further polarity. I myself could solve the whole situation for them in ways that would be acceptable to them, those abusers and users would have no argument in the solution. They would get shelter. In fact, the whole solution is a solution, though it would cost more than the local authority has in its budget for those services, and therefore pointless of me to postulate it to them, pointless for me to consider it even. I have even had to sit there and say nothing whilst I am lied to, as I know ultimately they know I will take them to court if necessary to get what I am entitled to, and therefore I let them lie to me this time, due to my health situation, due to my need to solve my circumstances, to get what I am entitled to anyway. Not a very good vlog. I, on the one hand, should perhaps not process this. On the other, it is a note for myself. I have already notified those that care that this is for myself. Anyone getting upset by my exposing of the injustice, the corruption inherent in the way the man continues to continue currently. I have no choice either. I will walk with you through it. We will be able to solve it, though an equal money system for all from birth until death will be required to enable us all to live a dignified life equally. That there is no doubt about. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you.